I'm Dr. Jacob Gomez. I am an owner and veterinarian at Cross Street Veterinary Hospital in Tulare, California. I graduated from Western University of Health Sciences in 2018. I'm a general practitioner, but I see things of all shapes and sizes. Only thing I don't work with is horses, but everything from hamsters to cows and in between, that's my thing. In terms of what inspires me or drives me, number one would be making a difference, and I feel like my career allows me to do that. Number two would be the business side of things. Weirdly enough, I am fascinated at looking at metrics and markers, and so I really enjoy that about my job. Most people know H5N1 as bird flu. Formally, we call the virus highly pathogenic avian influenza. Primarily, it affects birds, but in more recent and rarer cases, we've seen that it can spread across multiple species, mammals included. The zoonotic potential is pretty high. You've heard in the news about cases of humans coming down with it. So again, most people know it as bird flu, but very quickly we've seen it affects a lot more than just birds. About a year ago, it was October of last year, was when bird flu or highly pathogenic avian influenza kind of hit home for us. We're surrounded in dairy capital of California, and some people consider it of the world. So it kind of started, one of my dairymen gave me a call and he kind of just mentioned, here's what's going on, what he was seeing. And so immediately we were notifying local authorities. In terms of his case, it was really quick for the CDFA and USDA to help us out. They were on his facility doing different kinds of testing, things like that. But around that same time, we started having a couple cats come into the clinic. They were just what we'll use in the industry as ADR, ain't doing right. They showed different symptoms, and it wasn't probably until maybe cat 3 or 4 that I kind of had that light bulb moment that clicked for me. This could be avian influenza with the cats. And that's kind of where it all started. My first reaction, honestly, was to kind of panic. This was really completely uncharted territory. You could do any kind of research online, textbooks. You're not going to find kind of the chapter on what to do when you find H5N1 in cats. So kind of on top of that, setting aside the medical side, specifically speaking in regards to the cats, I also had to think about kind of the One Health approach. My clients, my staff, myself, again, this is just really uncharted waters. But more importantly, I had to kind of stay focused, and my priority was I want to prepare the owners, and in this case, for kind of the worst case scenario, which is these cats are dying, right? It's not just me, but it's all over the news. Secondly, though, I wanted to be very transparent with the owners that we don't know what to expect. When I decided to use this drug, Tamiflu, in these cats, again, it's uncharted territory. We don't even really have doses, if you will. And so it really took a moment to kind of balance myself in terms of preparing owners for worst case scenario, preparing them for things that we don't know what we're preparing for. So it was tough. In regards to symptoms or signs with these animals, it's tough. There really isn't a set list where it's a slam dunk if it meets this, and this. So with the cases that I saw personally, in regards to the cats, it was all over the place. One came in with respiratory signs and was febrile. I saw cats that were neurologic with this type disease. Unfortunately, some of the times it looked like rabies, if you will. And so that's a big thing that comes up. I think the important thing when we think about it, though, is, early detection, specifically quick action, can make a difference possibly. And that's kind of what this publication's helped show, is that even when the odds are stacked against us and it seems impossible, potentially picking up on these things quickly and acting quickly can really make a difference. As I always tell my friends, because I constantly get texts about their pets, go to the vet. In all seriousness, if you're worried about your cat, get it checked out. Your veterinarian's your best resource to help you with that. Chances are it's probably not bird flu, but you'd rather be cautious and act early rather than wait and wonder and find out later. The most emotional part of this whole endeavor would be getting these cats to survive. Like I mentioned earlier, I set the bar extremely low because we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know what's going to happen. So the fact that we did get 2 cats successfully treated and through this disease, emotional for the owner, just, again, it was really impactful. I think the most memorable part, though, of all of it is kind of happening right now. Never in a million years did I imagine that it would gain any attention or traction. Being covered in the LA Times, that is not something last October when I was dealing with this situation that I even thought about. At the time, I was just doing my job. I was treating these cats, right, that I suspected had bird flu. We couldn't even confirm it at that time. And so it wasn't about anything bigger than just going to work and doing my job. And here it is now. Again, this to me is the most memorable, is that it's made an impact on so many people. And that's not what I intended, but I can't complain about that. This study really kind of ties into the One Health concept, which kudos to Western University, because that was a big topic that we hit on, kind of the understanding between animal, human, and environmental health being all connected. Specifically speaking with bird flu, to me, the connection is pretty crystal clear. It's a virus that moves, across multiple species lines, birds, mammals, potentially people. And it's interesting because, again, when I was treating these cats and later kind of writing up the case with the University of Maryland, I actually hadn't even at that time noticed or realized human patients had been treated specifically with Tamiflu in some of these cases. And so to me, the parallel between these two situations underscores the importance of just sharing information across different species, professions, especially when it's something new like this, that there isn't a how-to guide on these types of situations. I think cross-disciplinary collaborations, needless to say, essential. Just because in this case specifically, we're talking about bird flu, but this won't be the last case of bird flu. There's going to be more pandemics, epidemics, things like that. And so when these moments come, it's very critical that everyone has a seat at the table. Veterinarians, physicians, researchers, public health officials. We all have to kind of work together and sometimes think creatively. For myself, the collaboration is part of honoring my specific professional oath, which specifically states protecting animal health while promoting public health. Now that this research is out there, I hope it does promote more investigation, if you will. As I mentioned earlier, there isn't a textbook on what to do in these scenarios. So I think it'd be really impactful if we can go from suspicions and hoping to proven and true. So number one, I do hope that it goes bigger, if you will. But the other thing is I hope it also hits local in terms of just my colleagues and other veterinarians. And to me, that's going to be the importance of, don't be afraid to look for an answer, even if it might not exist yet. I feel like sometimes veterinary medicine is a very gray area, much more often than we'd like it to be. And so in this case specifically, I had to balance the risk of trying something completely new, experimental against the odds versus doing nothing at all. And I've faced criticism for that, if you will. But at the end of the day, those cats survived. Something I hope other people will take away is don't be afraid to try and look for an answer that might not be there. My education at Western University really kind of shaped me into the veterinarian that I am today, because it really taught me how to think. We never studied bird flu in school. I can promise you it wasn't one of our cases. It wasn't in PBL. It wasn't something we really even talked about. But our university emphasized problem solving and critical thinking. And more importantly, what Western taught me is how to search for answers and where to look for these answers. And so that mindset's really what guided me, not just through this case, but it's guided me through my entire career to where I am now.